Good evening. Thanks for joining us on the primetime newscast on EQUINOXE television, live from our central news desk in Douala, Cameroon. Up to the northwest region of the country, in this edition of the newscast, we shall be telling you how a protest demonstration from the Northwest Southwest Joint Women Task Force welcomed Prime Minister Dion to Bamenda, chief town of the northwest region of the country. They say the Anglophone crisis is having a hard impact on women in this region of the country. Back to the southwest, the governor of the southwest region of the country, Bernard Okalia Bilai Bakpedal, says he did not ask to dethrone chiefs of the southwest region of the country over 28th May celebration, but however, he indicated that he called on them to participate in order to ensure a successful celebration of 20th May across the entire national triangle. Those are our top stories. You're on to the primetime newscast on EQUINOXE television, live from Douala, Cameroon. My name is Armstrong Sander. We move over to the northwest region of the country to talk about the protest demonstration staged by Northwest Southwest Joint Women Task Force, who have, however, welcomed Prime Minister Dion to Bamenda, chief town of the northwest region of the country. The women are protesting the devastating effects of the Anglophone crisis on them, their children, and equally their activities in the two English-speaking regions of the country. They carry placards such as "Peace, a moral weapon." They equally say conflict is inevitable, but violence is evitable. They are equally decrying, among other things, the violence suffered women of the northwest and southwest regions of the country within the context of the socio-political crisis hitting the two English-speaking regions of the country. They came out at the Bamenda station and equally at the hotel that is to host Prime Minister Chief Dr. Dion, who is on a 4-day visit to the northwest regional chief town of Bamenda. It should equally be noted that this is the first time that the Prime Minister is going on an official visit to the northwest region of the country after he was appointed as Prime Minister of the Republic of Cameroon. We shall be coming back to an excerpt of Prime Minister and what he told the population of the northwest region of the country in this edition of the newscast. And still with the Anglophone crisis, we this time around will be taking you to the Indian division of the southwest region of the country to understand and measure the devastating effects of the Anglophone crisis on NGUTE. It is a subdivision of this division. Our special envoy to Indian division, precisely NGUTE subdivision, is Davison Maimo.
It is a sound of heavy shooting at a locality in a NGUTE subdivision called Bikora between the Cameroon military and separatist fighters. I was told this is what has been going on for some time in that area, as it is one of the strongholds of the separatist fighters. At the St. Antonius Catholic Church, some of the Christians gathered on Easter Sunday to give thanks to God. The parish father, Reverend Father Julius Okoro, in his sermon, called on the Christian to have confidence in the Lord. However, these children receiving the first Holy Communion for their very first time cannot go celebrating like their peers in other areas due to insecurity that still looms in the area. Holes of bullets on the church building after exchange of gunshot between the separatist fighters and the Cameroon National Gendarmerie, where separatist fighters attacked the Gendarmerie Brigade, which is just a stone throw from the church. Reverend Father Julius, who was formerly at the Bikora parish, said he had to relocate to Lobe Estate due to high level of insecurity that prevails by then. The killings of loved ones last year is still very fresh in the memories of some of the people, with accusation fingers pointing to both the Cameroon military and separatist fighters.
Even last year, my cousin, who with me and him were the same age, was shot on the 3rd of May. We buried him on the 4th. They shoot my picking from Dion, then 3 they sleep so. They shoot 1, they take him for Watawa, they come. 1 they meet up and they my picking, they enter inside house, they move him. They move it inside house, they bring them outside, they shoot them 3. They sleep so. They will keep my neighbor key. Anything the pain when I drive and I'm a walker. Since they kill that picking, the team pains we. I mean, they shoot for dangue. If Betty sending me, I'm by people who are a game motor don't buy them. They're shooting. We go discover the dead body of monitor. We can't bring that. We have lost so many of our men and family loved ones, and there are some that we have not even seen their dead bodies.
And of course, we move back to the Northwest Regional Chief Town, Bamenda, within the context of the official visit of Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph NGUTE to the city of Bamenda. He was welcomed, as earlier indicated, by women of the Northwest Southwest Joint Task Force who are decrying the devastating effects of the Anglophone crisis on them as women. And of course, Prime Minister Joseph NGUTE equally had time to discuss with these women. He spoke to them in Pidgin, an excerpt of the message of Prime Minister to women of the Northwest Southwest Joint Task Force.
Now, Papa Paul Bia is sent me. So Mika can do everything if peace come back for Northwest. When I hear, now the thing where it bring me here, and I go sit down here with I said that Papa Paul Bia, he sent me. He said Mika stay for here for Bamenda. So then I see how we please get for return to Bamenda. Don't tell me, he don't hear when I cry. He said he don't hear when I cry. And that the thing that way he said we can stand here. He can tell when I say who is here?
The visit of the Prime Minister of the Republic of Cameroon to the Northwest region, which is one of the 2 regions of Cameroon hard hit by what is commonly referred to now as the Anglophone crisis, comes within government's effort to ensure a return to normalcy in the 2 regions of the country that are suffering a conflict close to for over close to 3 years now. And of course, it should be noted that in his message, he equally called on those he termed as separatists to drop their guns and embrace normal life, which is, according to him, a unique opportunity offered by President Paul Biya for them in order to continue that peace should reign in Cameroon. And of course, Chief Dr. Joseph NGUTE equally assured them that if they drop their arms, the military will be demanded to leave the 2 English-speaking regions of the country. And over in the southwest region of the country, we take you to a village known as Buba-1. Buba-1 is in the Kupe Maninguba division of the southwest region of the country, where the senior divisional officer of the Kupe Maninguba recently paid a visit within a high security level. That is, he was accompanied by top security officials of the Kupe Maninguba division to solve a problem that is referred to by the people of Buba-1 as a chieftaincy crisis. Simanji Gabriel has more on that.
It was under tight security that the senior divisional officer of Kupe Maninguba division descended to the localities of Buba 1, 2, and 3 under Tombel subdivision of the southwest region. Due to the chieftaincy squabbles, at least 10 persons had died, many wounded, while others have escaped from the localities.
The problem in Buba was that people think that it is landlord who install quarter heads. And they just said that they don't know who landlord, they don't know everybody.
The presence of Kenyatta Augustine in Buba 1, 2, and 3 was to instill peace that has long left the inhabitants of these localities.
I will not come here to insult the chief, because in these places of Buba 1, Buba 3, Buba 2, and Mal 6 and Waterfall, all those places are under Nyasoso. Then it is the chief of Nyasoso who can designate his representatives in those localities. So I come here only to tell you that we have to maintain the peace. We have to maintain love in our society, because there is no freedom in Buba 1. There is no freedom in Buba 2. There is no freedom in Buba 3.
The senior divisional officer left this message behind for the inhabitants.
I present you what do we call it? Peace. Peace. And present this for the peace to reign in our society.
The visit made by the senior divisional officer to the localities has been lauded by its inhabitants.
We are satisfied for what the NGUTE told us, and we are proud that the truth is coming out. That is the second-class chief of Nyasoso who appointed his representatives in Buba area. That is what I've written from what the SGO said.
Henceforth, the people of Buba 1, 2, and 3 will get strict instructions from the chief of Nyasoso village.
Southwest Governor Bamenda Okalia-Bilai, in what many qualify as backpedaling, has said he did not ask to dethrone chiefs of the southwest region of the country if they fail to participate in 20th May celebration in the southwest region of Cameroon. He said he, however, called on them as custodians of the tradition of the people of the southwest region to massively participate in 20th May in order to encourage their children to do so, which is an act of cementing national unity. More with Derek Jato from Buea.
May 8, 2019, Mr. Bamenda Okalia-Bilai, governor of the Southwest region, makes his entrance at the Buea Council for the second preparatory meeting ahead of May 20 celebration. The house is a full one today, and in his opening remarks, the Southwest governor stressed on the need to join forces for a smooth celebration. And to all civil servants, attendance sheet will be circulating in various celebration venues all over the Southwest region.
I hereby invite and call on all civil servants and state agents at the level of region, divisions as well as subdivisions to fully participate in the National Day celebration, as attendance sheet will be circulated in the tribunes to take note of those present.
And on the page of the Buea Chiefs, Southwest Governor, through his Secretary General, read what he called clarification.
The administration, through the governor, did not demand to dethrone chiefs, but rather sought to bring them to represent effectively their communities. That is the clarification that I want to deliver this day. Thank you for your kind attention.
The Southwest governor himself will later thank the few chiefs who came for the meeting.
I want to thank the chiefs who have come in their number. I want to congratulate them and to reassure them that they have the support of the administration because they are the grassroots. That's why when we are talking of mobilization, culture, we cannot avoid to send a call towards the chief.
Then another clarification from the office of the Limbe traditional rulers.
In total unity, I equally want to use this opportunity to appeal to the people who we assign to represent us to avoid making statements that engage all of us without summoning such forums for us to deliberate on such statements.
The Southwest governor message to the Buea chiefs during the last meeting The Southwest Chiefs Conference responds in a firm communique days later. The divisional officer responding to the response of the Southwest Chiefs, this time addressing it to the president of the Southwest Chiefs Conference. In a hard letter he called observation. Today's Southwest Governor's outing in what he called clarification, and the present reaction now on the ground, is keeping the always victim population of the region on the fence as the nation's clock ticks to May 20.
20th May celebration 2019, a symbolic celebration of national unity that is dividing chiefs of the southwest region of the country. Participate in 20th May 2019 boycotted are two extremes held by custodians of the tradition of the people of the southwest region of Cameroon. We shall be coming back to this in our second part of this news with our guests. Meanwhile, the visit of Chief Dr. Joseph NGUTE to the northwest region of the country continue to draw attention, that is to draw attention from across Cameroon and even out of the country, with newsworthy elements coming in from the chief town of the northwest region of the country, Bamenda. We propose to you an excerpt of Chief Dr. Joseph NGUTE.
I am here at the behest of the President of the Republic, President Paul Biya. He instructed me to come to Bamenda. I'll be in Bamenda for a few days, and the objective is to bring a message of hope and a message of peace from President Paul Biya to the populations of the northwest region. Everyone who has been following up events for the past 2.5 years knows that this region has suffered greatly from the insurrection that started with what has come to be known as Amber Boys. They took up arms, they started fighting the police, fighting security forces, destroying property, state property, sometimes personal property of people. And the government could not let this happen. And so security forces came in, the military also intervened in order to keep the peace. And they've been doing a great deal of work in trying to bring peace to the area. However, the president, having seen the suffering of this population, has sent me to reassure the population that all he wants is peace. He doesn't want these young people to continue to stay in the bushes where they are losing education, they are not getting any education, where they are being a nuisance to themselves, they are being a nuisance to the community, destroying trade, destroying social intercourse. A lot of community leaders have left the communities, like traditional leaders, and this is not right. So he has sent me to reassure them that they should leave the bushes, they should come, drop their arms, come to the centers that he has created to receive them, to give them free food, free clothing, so that they can go through a process of reintegrating normal life. He has told me to reassure them that the dialogue they have been asking for, it is true he has been dialoguing with them through his institutions, through his ministers, through many other channels. But if they want, as they want, a dialogue which will look at a number of issues, he is prepared to hold that dialogue. All he's looking for is people who can be representative enough to dialogue. That is what he's looking at. And he's organizing that. And he has said that with the exception of separation or secession, every other topic can be discussed. So he's prepared to listen to every other issue. So he has asked me to reassure them and to tell them that the destruction of bridges, of edifices, of schools, of houses is not useful. It cannot bring any meaningful result. Some of these bridges, some of these structures were built not by them, not even by us, but by our fathers, our grandfathers. And they built them so that future generations should enjoy them. They don't have a right to destroy them. We don't have a right to destroy them. We must create new structures for future generations. And that is how a society develops and evolves. So he has asked me to tell them that it is not necessary. That should stop. He has asked me to tell all community leaders to join hands to ensure that the Northwest region, which was notorious for peace, which was notorious for tranquility, which was notorious for its hard-working people, its good system of education, good health institutions, should start enjoying those facilities again. People should come to the Northwest region for health, for schooling, for good education. But today, people are running away from the region. All the children are leaving the region to go to other regions in the country to get some education. It should stop. We are not doing ourselves a favor. The boys are not doing themselves a favor, so we should stop it. And that is why he has asked me to come here to reiterate this to the population, to talk to all the people who can talk to those boys, that he is prepared to listen to them. He is prepared to provide them jobs. He is prepared to do a number of things to advance their cause. So they...
Religious leaders as well are equally preoccupied with the deepening conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. The Bishop of Mamfe recently called on the people of Mboka village to pray and ask God to help facilitate the return to normalcy in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. And of course, his Lordship Andong Kia made the call as he officially opened the shrine of Our Lady of Fatima Church in Mboka. The main promoter of the project is OK Johnson Ndo, a native of NGUTE subdivision. And of course, he is equally one of the persons, I'm talking about the Bishop of Mamfe, who has been vocal on the atrocities committed in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, especially within the Mamfe Diocese of the Roman Catholic Church in the southwest region of the country. That's it for this first part of the news. Thanks for staying with us. Up next is Talking Point. Thanks for staying with us in Talking Point. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome once again. We are receiving an educationalist and entrepreneur, Dr. Nick Ngwanyam of St. Louis University. Doctor, you are welcome to Talking Point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Doctor, we start with news from the southwest region of the country. Governor Bernard Okalia-Bilai of the southwest region of the country says he didn't ask to dethrone chiefs of the region in what many qualify as backpedaling. What do you have to say on that?
Well, if he realizes that he made a mistake and he's looking for a gentlemanly way of asking for forgiveness or saving face, I think that's great. But sometimes it's easier just to come out and say, look, I made a mistake. I didn't understand your culture, and I probably said things that hurt you. Please forgive me. That will not happen again. And then we sweep it under the carpet and continue. But if you say something, because I think I heard him say so,
yes,
on a video.
He did.
And then
it
was on a video, and then after that, you know, he had some of his lieutenants come on board again to beat people up with their words and threats and so on. And then for him just to turn around again and say that that's not what he meant, it's very tricky indeed. And when you're in a leadership position, you should be able to say something and stand by it. If you think you made a mistake, just say, I made a mistake. It's not, and then, you know, it's a sign of power to just say, I'm sorry, and then ask for forgiveness from your people. You know, this kind of sneaky way of trying to dodge out of something is not
sneaky way you put it there is correct. So at the time when many say the correction or what he terms clearing the air on the statement he made actually passed through the Secretary General, the Southwest Regional Governor's Office, in a ceremony where the governor was present.
Yeah, you know, the governor said something, and if he goes and slips and then he gets wisdom and realizes that he made a mistake. When he comes back, he has the opportunity to stand up and say it himself. You don't go through the Secretary General when you're sitting there. So, in fact, it's just a sign of weakness.
And equally, it would be good that he finally realizes that what he said was not going to, is coming to apologize. But people still hold that it is coming late enough at a time when his statement is kind of dividing chiefs of the Southwest region of the country. I talk about recently, after the Southwest Chiefs Conference came out with a communique, they were actually angry with the statement of the governor. Recently, we have the paramount chief ruler designate of Buea saying that he is calling on his people to come out and march, having divided opinions and reactions.
No, see, the issue, you see, there is all these kind of, issues. We always get divided over issues, and people don't stick to reality.
Okay.
You know, the chiefs were not angry that the governor had asked the people to come out and march. It's been normal for people to come out and march on 20th May. But to say that the funds or the chiefs should come out and march and hold their placards, otherwise they will be dethroned, they will be dealt with, and those kind of threats. The people were not angry that the governor had asked the people to march. Of course, people are supposed to march.
Yes.
And even if the people don't march, they can always bring that, like on the 11th of February. If the kids did not march, it was some adults who marched. So we could still gather some adults and have them to march. So marching is not the issue. But the issue here at stake was the fact that you ask funds or chiefs as such to march with placards, which is actually wrong. And then, some of these hungry chiefs, they try to play to the gallery, turning around. But that was a wrong act, and it's a wrong act. It doesn't matter who said what and so on. It was wrong to do that.
And having things wrong and coming back to try to solve them is the way some are qualifying this official visit of Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph NGUTE to Bamenda in the northwest region of the country. They say the government, an official of his caliber is going to the region at a time when the conflict is at almost worst.
No, well, there must be, but, we must start somewhere. The journey of 1,000 miles must begin somewhere. And when this conflict started, it was, a lot of people were hoping that the president would just speak a word or even go back there to the provinces and then the regions and talk to people. And I'm sure we'll not be where we are today with all these unnecessary killings and so on.
So what did you make of his message to the people of the Northwest?
And then, of course, there was another prime minister there.
Yes,
who probably had his own techniques.
And he made several visits to this region.
Yeah, he made several visits, but he never talked to any crowd like this man, like this other one was talking.
An indication that people love, more Anglophones appreciate
No, there's leadership and style and savoir-faire.
So Anglophones prefer more of Dion NGUTE, they prefer Dion NGUTE than his predecessor? Well,
from a personal perspective, I know the two of them, and I would choose Dion NGUTE anytime. From a personal, because he has a people's skills.
Okay.
He can talk to people, look at them and say, hey brother, just talk in the language that they understand, get them, you could see the way they were standing, feeling at ease with the PM, though there were some military people there, which is not very healthy. But of course, you could see that there was some warmth.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes, yes.
But the other one we had there, there used to always be a distance, he was a high priest, and therefore
some qualified them as speaking always in French.
Well, yes, but the other prime ministers that we had, when they're having these meetings in Yaoundé and talking to people, they always talk in French as if they were begging for something. But Prime Minister Dion NGUTE is different. He's very bilingual, and he chooses his language as he goes along. And I'm just hoping that when he goes to Buea, he should remind the governor of Buea to apologize for calling people dogs. Because it is these kind of administrators and this bad governance that has created all these problems. If we are having these problems on Anglophone world, what is bad governance from beginning to end?
So do you foresee a solution to the Anglophone crisis through the leadership of Prime Minister Joseph NGUTE?
Well, yes, he is sowing the right seed, and sometimes, yeah, if you start a process and you start it properly and you are doing the right thing, whether you finish it or not, the important thing is to be seen to be doing the right thing all the time.
His message is that the secession should not be part of dialogue, already giving preconditions to a dialogue that many are even clamoring for. It is not forthcoming.
Well, but if you listen even to the Americans speaking, the American ambassador Tibon Nagy and the others, they were a little bit hedgy about the cessation. But probably we should start from somewhere and talk about something that works. The government as of now says they want a 10-state decentralized system.
Yes,
or it could be a 10 like the senator from Kumba, what's his name again? Mokete was saying we should have 10 federated states.
Yes.
But we could still come back to our 2 federated states. We could have the West Cameroon, the East Cameroon, but there is something better than we can take something of the decentralization and take something of the federation, these 2 federations, and put them together and actually have confederation. We have confederation where we have the state of West Cameroon is a confederation, you know, and the East Cameroon. Then the Northwest, Southwest are decentralized within the West Cameroon.
Yes, within
then
the West Cameroon.
The 8 regions of East Cameroon are decentralized. You understand? And then you have the Yaoundé is a capital not under East Cameroon. Yaoundé stands apart and is watching over these 2 confederate states. And then we build a new and a different capital for East Cameroon. It will be better, and then we put in some other clauses that would make Cameroon to function better.
You are an educationalist and an entrepreneur. You say one of the reasons causing youth to take up arms could be lack of education and poverty.
Yes, yes. For 60 or how many years that we've been existing, that education has been very poor.
Yes,
it's very poor in technology. It's very poor in savoir-faire. You just train children to recite this and recite that, and then they get A's, and then they cannot solve problems, and that's where the trouble is. And until we correct that and begin to train our children in issues of technology and savoir-faire and how to solve problems, we're going nowhere. And you see the economy is very poor. And so we need to actually look at these things and then make sure that people who govern and rule over us speak the truth and respect each other. Respect has been lacking, truth has been lacking, savoir-faire has been lacking. So people just turn around, and especially people around the president, telling a lot of lies and so on just for their own stomachs.
Yeah, institutions like St. Louis Institute of Technology could do better.
Well, yes, we are hoping that we could show the good example.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ningwanyan, for accepting to be guest on Talking Point.
It's a pleasure. We hope that we can have peace back to our nation.
And we equally hope to have you next time.
I will always be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, televiewers, thanks for staying with us. That's it for this edition of the news.